Hey everybody, it is Catherine here with Bullitt County Public Library, and today we are going to be doing a craft together. So today we are going to be making a spider web in celebration of the ANANSI the spider mythology. ANANSI the spider is a mythical trickster figure that appears in the form of a spider or a man with spider-like features, and he originates from the culture of the Ashanti people in Ghana. And often people in Ghana or people in the Caribbean will tell stories about Anansi bringing wisdom and stories into the world. So as far as supplies, you will need some type of a wax paper, a shallow bowl or plate, yarn. I have white yarn here, but you can use any color. Glue. And then I have just something to hold a little bit of extra water in here in case the glue gets kind of cakey, and then scissors. Okay, so your first step is to take your yarn and your scissors, and you want to cut several pieces of yarn out. So I would recommend about 4 pieces of yarn that are about 6 inches long, and then 1 longer piece of yarn that is closer to 8 or 10 inches long. If you would like a smaller spider web, do keep in mind that the glue will make the yarn stretch. So just take a couple of inches off of those measurements and you should be good. You want to take your plate and fill it with your glue. You're going to want quite a bit of glue. I don't know that you need to use the whole bottle, but you do want your yarn to be able to just sort of submerge in the glue that you're putting in this plate. The next step is to just submerge your yarn in the glue that you have put in this plate. Now your hands will get a little bit glue covered, and you want to make sure you get just all of it down in there. Make sure you submerge the ends too. And then when you pull them out, make sure you just sort of run your fingers along the edges of the yarn to get any extra glue off. So this is where the wax paper comes in. So you just want to start laying down your strips of yarn in the pattern of a spider web, and I suggest doing the sort of base ones, the shorter ones first, and then leaving the long one, which you will wrap around the entire situation, for last. So now that you have made your spider web shape, it is time to let it dry. I tend to go ahead and put a little bit of glue extra in the little joint type places where the yarn meets itself, just so it sticks. I ended up not making my long piece long enough because I wasn't using a ruler, so maybe add a couple of extra inches on there while you're eyeballing it so you don't end up like me. I did end up just cutting another short piece of yarn and sticking it in there, so hopefully that works out. But it usually takes about 4 hours for the glue to sort of settle, and then another couple hours for it to be officially dry, as in, you know, you can move it and it's okay. So it's been about 4 hours since I originally put the spider web down on the wax paper, and I am sort of gently starting to pull up the edges, and let's just see how well this holds together now that it's dry. So this one mostly stuck together. I did go ahead and stick some glue in a couple little places where this spiral part of the yarn didn't quite stick to the base, but otherwise it's pretty much holding its shape. The middle is holding pretty well. And then I also did this one while I was waiting, so I want to see what this one looks like too, because I actually used just the one piece in the middle for this. Yeah, so this one's about the same. It's mostly holding together super well. As you see, when I hold it up, it looks like a spider web. But there are like a couple places where the yarn didn't quite stick to itself. So I am going to just dab a little more glue back in there and wait for that to dry and then see. I left them to dry again after I touched up the bits that weren't sticking, and I think they turned out pretty well. You know, they hold together, they look like spider webs. This one's a little wonky, but you know what? It's the first one I did, so I still respect him. I had a lot of fun doing this, and I also had a lot of fun reading the Anansi the Spider myth, which will be in the description of this video. So if you get a chance, check that out. I hope you enjoy both that and the craft. Thanks so much for watching.